Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Lisa Richardson, and today we're coming to you from the beautiful Waterfall Farms on Spring Island. Joining us today is our first guest, Jeremy Hawker. He's the executive chef out here at Spring Island. Next, we'll be talking with Jim Becerra. He's the lead volunteer out here at the community farm. And our final guest is John Strother, the broker in charge here at Spring Island. So stick around and join us for this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak. 843 TV, where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Spring Island comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
TV, where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV with our first guest here at Spring Island is Jeremy Hawker. He is the executive chef. Jeremy, thank you for joining us out here on this beautiful morning out in a wonderful environment. I understand that you're fairly new to Spring Island. Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, I came here from Belfair Country Club. I was the executive sous chef at Belfair, and I was born in Florida. And I moved here in grade school, and my passion for cooking came probably through high school when I took some food classes, and then I just really created a passion for it. I fell in love with it and cooked at home and learned under my mom and dad. And then I joined the American Culinary Federation, which is a world-renowned federation for culinary arts, and became more involved. And I was mentored at Belfair from my previous chef, and he helped me, guided me to get this job here at Spring Island, and just happy to be at this wonderful community and here in this wonderful farm, as we can see in the video.
And I know it's a very engaging community. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but you also had a dish that was featured in the October issue of Equestrian Living. That's really neat. Share with us about that.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was actually a dish that I did for the South Carolina Seafood Festival previously in January, and I won a gold medal for it through the ACF. Oh, nice. And so when they offered the opportunity to put this in a magazine, what's your favorite dish? I said, you know, I have this wonderful dish that I did. It's very Southern themed and low country themed, and really and it fell into part perfectly. So, and that dish was, it was a blackened local tile fish. So it's a local fish off the coast that you catch about anywhere from 100 miles or a little less inland. And it was served with some roasted sweet potato grits. It had a smoked tomato and orange marmalade on top.
Sounds wonderful,
and
doesn't
then
it, John?
A little pesto roasted rutabagas. So all the ingredients came from South Carolina, and the fish was local, and it was great. And my family loves it, and they're all excited about the magazine. And I have numerous family members that are involved with equestrian and that amenities there. So it was nice.
Well, I know everybody that was there loved sampling that dish. I mean, I've never seen so many people descend on one dish. It was.
That's one of my favorites. So.
Yeah, it was great. And one of the things, I saw some people walking toward the River House the other day, and they had chef's jackets on, and they aren't chefs, and had their names on it. What are y'all doing? Oh, we're going to cooking class. Chef Jeremy is giving us cooking class. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I think that's so neat.
Yeah, it's a cooking series. It's a 4-week series that we're doing. It was a 4-week series that we did at Spring Island, and it was limited to about 8 or 9 members because of our kitchen size and safety concerns. You don't want to have with all these new members using knives that, if you're unaware if they can use a knife or not.
Not a good idea.
So, but the 4 weeks consisted of your basics starting out for this series. So your basics were chicken stocks and fabricating chickens. We did knife cuts, we did making pasta, making breads and pastries, and we finished with seafood and the sustainability of seafood and purchasing local seafood and how to shuck an oyster and how to devein a shrimp and how to a lot of the members participated in cleaning a whole salmon, which was really neat. So, and some didn't because they were a little afraid. But
that would be
it went really, really well. It really did. It was exciting and engaging with the members, and you build those personal relationships with the members, which is so important. And why the big reason I'm in the club business, because of that family orientation that you get being in the club.
They loved it. I mean, they were just over the moon about that. And,
Jeremy, this whole concept that you hear lately of farm to table, sea to table, it's a big buzz phrase, and there, you see that in restaurants. How does this farm here play out with the community and within the restaurant?
Well, on my menus, on all three of the menus that we do run, we have a breakfast menu, we have a lunch options, and we do have a dinner menu that actually goes from both restaurants. Anytime you see a vegetable or a produce item that's on the menu and we have it grown at the farm, it will come from our local farm. And you really can't, when you say local and you say in your network of purveyors that you can purchase from, this is true local. I mean, you're right on your same plantation that you're at. And it's just a beautiful thing having this wonderful, amazing, as you can see, this 4-acre farm we have here from all the fall season, winter season, summer season, and how fresh it truly can be. So I have 3 or 4 culinary members on my team that know how to come out and properly pick and properly look for the ripest vegetable and when it's at its peak to get it, and then we wash it and clean it and we serve it to our members. And a lot of times some of the employees are able to take some home of extra and members get to take some, and so it's a wonderful thing.
It doesn't get any fresher than that, does it?
No.
Absolutely.
No, do y'all use eggs from the
We sure do, yeah.
also?
Tammy uses, we don't get enough eggs to provide for like normal service, like with eggs in all of our desserts, but all the eggs are used for our ice creams that we make in-house.
Oh, is that right?
So all the egg yolk is used for ice cream, and then the egg whites are used for meringues and different things that we use for.
I know everybody's so happy to have you here. You've just made a tremendous difference in our program. I know this weekend you hosted a 250-person wedding. I mean, you cooked for 2 sit-down dinners. I mean, that's pretty amazing for you and your staff. You don't have a huge staff.
No, it was a challenge, and it's just the planning and preparation and training your staff and mentoring them as I was, and how to properly plan for when you're doing between 4 nights, you're doing 800 plates. So it was an exciting time, and it brings our camaraderie together in the kitchen a little closer.
It's kind of like war, isn't it?
It is, but it's fun though. There's no bullets flying on you. So.
Yeah.
Now, I heard something about a quail pie that you recently made.
Yeah, you know, when I first came to Spring Island, I've cooked quail. I've purchased it before, and I love it, but I've never seen the amount of quail that members bring me here. And half the time, they're actually like shot by them or by their friends. So a lot of times I'm picking out BBs of these little quail breasts and things. Which
my goodness.
So you have to be very careful picking out little metal fragments of bullets and BBs and things they shoot them with. But the quail pies was new to me. I've heard of it, never cooked it. I had a few members bring me some quail, and some of them gave me some recipes to follow, and different ones were dairy-free, eggless, and so it was a learning experience for me. And it was fun. It was neat making, you know, I never made a quail pie for one, but let alone make 5 different varieties of it. I was like, wow, you really can do a lot with it. So members heard of it, and then more members were bringing more quail. So
we've got farm to table and from the hunting field to the table too, in a sense. So Jeremy, thank you for sharing all this great information.
Absolutely.
And you all stick around. We'll be right back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV, coming to you today on location from the Waterfall Farm on the beautiful Spring Island. Joining us now is Jim Becerra. He is the lead volunteer out here in charge of the garden project. Jim, thank you for having us out here today.
It's my pleasure.
It's a beautiful morning, fall morning, and on that note, it's prime time for crops, certain crops. This is quite an operation you've got out here.
It is.
Many acres, a lot of people involved. Share with us how it works.
That's not too complicated. We have a couple of professionals that happen to be on our community maintenance staff. The Taylor brothers, they've been around farms their entire lives. They have a farm of their own. And they do the heavy lifting, the tractor work that none of us are really skilled to be able to do, or the rows would not be this straight if we tried to do them ourselves. And beyond that, we have a whole slew of volunteers that we organize around different activities. When it's planting season, which was just in the past few weeks, we have what we call planting parties, and we'll come out and we'll put in anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500 plants at a time. Currently there's about 4,000 plants in. And then subsequent to that, every Tuesday we have hoeing day. And we all meet out here at 08:30, and we take care of whatever hoeing, weeding needs to be done to keep the garden looking clean and certainly optimizing the growth of the plants.
Now you mentioned volunteers, but they're actually residents of the community. So share how
All
that
the
works.
volunteers are residents, people who, some people love cooking, some people just love gardening, and others just come out for the social aspect of it. You get 20, 30 people out here in the community, you see people that you haven't seen before, new members that have just recently joined that enjoy gardening, so it's quite an activity.
So when the crops are ready, and why don't we take a walk?
Sure.
And since you've got quite a few here that are flourishing right now, when the crops are ready, who gets to use them? Are they used for the residents, the restaurant?
Both. The residents can come and pick whenever they want, and the restaurant takes advantage of certainly the things we plant a lot of, cauliflower, broccoli, and so forth. So both constituencies get to enjoy it as much as they want, and at the end of the season, they all get together and cry because they're no longer available anymore.
Well, let's take a little walk more and tell us what we've got here. For those of us who may not know a green from a turnip from a carrot, how do we know what we've got growing here?
Well, at this point, most people don't. So because it's not pickable, but we have in the fall garden, which is what you see here. We normally plant 2 gardens a year: a spring garden and a fall garden. The fall garden is mostly leafy vegetables and root vegetables. So you have in the front there cabbage and broccoli. On the left side you have several different cabbages. Back here we have Brussels sprouts, bok choy, more cauliflower, and to our left here was some things that we planted by seed, things like beets, carrots, parsnips, different kinds of kales.
Now, I understand there's a newsletter that goes out to the residents when the crops are ready. Share with us about that.
There is. We do at least weekly emails where we try to do, the emails are really geared around 2 different things. First, informative, so we tell people what the status of the farm is, and this goes to anybody, not just the people that volunteer, but anybody on the island that wants to be part of the email list. Tell them what the status is, what can be picked, what can't be picked. Try to educate them on the vegetables as well. But then there's another aspect of the email that is really meant to build excitement around getting people out here to get involved and to utilize the farm, because it is an amenity, just like the fitness center or the golf course, and we want to maximize utilization and we want people to be excited about it. So we include a lot of recipes, an introduction to vegetables that they may not be familiar with, like bok choy, which is relatively new for us. We have lemongrass growing in the back. These are ingredients that a lot of home cooks haven't used before and might be a little bit afraid to engage with. So we try to explain to them how easy it is to use and what the advantages are of having it fresh, and encourage them to get out here and pick.
This is great, and you kind of took the words out of my mouth. A lot of communities have, as you do too, golf and water sports, and you actually have the gardening aspect is some activity that you can get engaged in in a full way. You even mentioned that some of the artists did some neat signs.
They did. So we did have some confusion, people coming out not really being confident. If I send an email and says you can pick this but don't pick that,
Right.
How do they locate it? So we have a thriving arts program here on Spring Island, as you know, and we engaged a painters group, and they've been doing some absolutely wonderful work, painting very artistic signs, anywhere from serious and art renditions of the plant itself to whimsical things, representing their own personal painting style. And it's gotten so popular that once the signs are up and we put them up when we don't use the tractor any longer, people will come out just for their morning walks, and they'll walk through the garden and look at all the art, and it's sort of an outdoor art exhibit. That's
some fabulous stuff. And you shared with me earlier that you're actually native of the DC area and just moved here 2 years ago, so it's quite a change for you. What are the key things that brought you here?
Well, this is a big one. When we were doing our research to find communities that we thought might be right for us, I'd been in gardening. My wife and I both love to cook, and the more we grew our own ingredients, the more it enhanced the whole cooking experience for us. So I was surfing around looking at places and found Spring Island, and then saw the farm, and that put it right at the top of our must-see list.
And here you are.
And here we are.
Well, wow, this is some great stuff. It was a beautiful day, and we're going to stay here at Spring Island and talk to some more folks here about the wonderful community garden. So stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back to 843 TV. Our John Strother, one of our favorite and popular guests, is joining us now. And all the time we come out here, it's beautiful, and there's always something new and something newly built. And I understand there's quite a property, 9 Rice Gate. I've seen the pictures. Share with us about that.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
I love that house. It it's so different from anything that you would imagine to be here in Spring Island. It's just ultra modern. It's on a beautiful site. It's about a 2-acre site on Rice Gate Pond, and I had an architect go out there. He writes for magazines, and he called me up when he had finished, and he said, I couldn't believe this house. They brought nature in every room. Every room is so unique. And really, this house is just different roof lines, glass everywhere. And because we have our nature curtains around each lot, you can have nothing but glass. You have total privacy. And the thing that makes this house so unique is the 5 structures on a lot, and then the landscaping that ties it in. It was done by Thomas Angel, the landscaping was, over in Savannah. And it's a series of arroyos, or sand and stone washes, so the water will go down in through there. Everything just is natural. You just meander from one place to the next, to the guest house, to the wine cellar, to the office.
Wow.
I know.
Sounds like more than a house, right?
Well, it is. It's
It is more than a house.
It's a village, and a couple lives there. And they just love it because each part of the day you can spend in a different area. And
yeah, you never have to leave. Why would you want to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're selling it. They want to buy another house here on Spring Island. And so
you mentioned uniqueness. That's the key out here, isn't it? There's not any one set pattern or style. In some area communities you may have to follow a certain guideline, but tell us about how that differs here in Spring Island.
Well, simply because the lots are so large and we have the nature curtains surrounding them, it's very difficult to see a house from the road. You really have to be invited in to experience a home here. So because of that, it gives us a lot more latitude as to what you can design. We have 270 homes up right now, and literally every one of these homes is someone's dream. It's a lifelong dream in a sense, probably in most cases. It is. Yeah. And so we get people here that come here and they're interested in modern architecture, and we have homes like that. People that are interested in a southern shack, so you can have that, or a grand southern home. Whatever it is, it has to be approved by our Habitat Review Board. It starts with an architect, landscape architect, to tie it in with the land, truly tying it in with the land, because we have so much land in each lot that there's not another place like it. And that's really what's made Spring Island famous, that interaction of the architecture and nature.
And on that note, you're talking about Spring Island being famous. Every time we come out to film, you've received a new accolade or a new recognition. So as of late, you've gotten some primetime exposure on a show. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is pretty neat. We had a television production company call our marketing company, BD Creative in Charleston, and ask if they could feature Spring Island as it's called Southern Weekend, and it was a 30-minute show, and it was broadcast in 27 markets, urban markets, Charleston in prime time, Charleston, Atlanta, Orlando, in the South and the Southeast. So Southern weekend. So it's an idea of what to do during your weekend, and they wanted to show a place that was unique, a unique planned community, and they wanted to use Spring Island. So they came here. It was a half-hour show that featured our trust, Chris Marshall with the trust, some homes, some architecture here, just the environment, horseback riding on the marshes. It was really something. So in Charleston, I mean, it was on at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Nice.
And yeah, it was just pretty amazing. It really is.
Now, we talked to Chef just earlier, and he shared about his neat cooking program that is available to residents. I understand you also had a neat wellness experience just recently, so share with us about that.
Yeah, it's Tammy Randolph runs our fitness center and wellness program. And about 8 years ago, the members tore down our old fitness center and completely had a brand new one out here. And they hired her, and she has taken our fitness and wellness program really to another level. No other community, no other area in the Southeast really matches the things that she brings together. But this was a 3-day wellness experience, and it'd start in the morning at 8 in the morning with yoga. Then there would be a learning session, breakfast education session. And it'd go from about 9 to 10:30. And we had some regional and nationally known speakers come here about alternate healing and different things like that. Then lunch, paddleboarding, yoga again, exercise, and then each day finished off with like healthy cocktails, or the last day it was the healthy wine.
Healthy and wine and cocktails in the same sentence.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, as always, there's so much to see and hear and learn about, and new things coming out here, and we just absolutely love it and enjoy talking to you each time, John. So thank you for sharing the most recent things going on here at Spring Island, and thank you all for watching this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.